What concerned me, as I expressed before, the vulnerability of our young people and to ideas which we actually know are old ideas or actually dysfunctional or not sufficient to really solve the problem. It concerned me that the way that their mindset or paradigm had been formed before did not have in it an inclusion or did not include a means for them to even receive what would save them. And one of the key things to that is right attitude about God, right attitude about traditional values. I told Abu Bakr, I said I had something to say about your daughter. Mecca Medyun, who is Abu Bakr's, raise your hand, Abu Bakr, so they know who I'm talking about. Yeah, Abu Bakr, his daughter was University of Pennsylvania. And Munaima, who is Tahida's sister, who's the daughter of Zakiya Rashid, who's a 3rd and 4th grade teacher. I think most of you know Zakiya. Raise your hand so some people might. It was her daughter that invited me, and Munaima and Mecca were there. Now, I just told you about what happened with the other young student, Yale students that matriculated in a different way. Now, Mecca and Munaima had not been exposed to the statements about paradigm the way I addressed it to them and the need to change definition and the challenge to blackness. They had not been exposed to it in the manner that I approached the Yale students with it in that environment. In that environment, every other student there thought that they were just every other student. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's saying, okay, everybody's just student somewhere, right? But I know, right? And I took them to a place where you're only going to be able to really get this if your mind is on. Now, Tahida's sitting over to the side, much like Abdul Rahim's sitting over here. She's sitting to the side, and she's listening to me, but she's also observing her peers, you know. Let me see how they reacted to this right there. So you know, she was already there, but Munaima and Mecca were in the audience just like, you know, any other student trying to, what is he coming with, right? So it came to a point where the thought needed to be crystallized for the group. And any teacher would like to hear some student from the group say, I get it, and this is what you said. Student, I wasn't hopeful that I was going to get that from this group under these circumstances, but Mecca crystallized the thought. She crystallized, so what you're saying, and then ran it with intelligence. And you know what I didn't do? I didn't say, and that's a former student of Clara Mohammed School. Didn't do that. Because then they would have said like, oh, well, that's them. Right. So okay. I said to myself, I said, alhamdulillah. Yeah. And when she was there, but I pumped it when he was there. I said, that's right. She got it exactly. You know, I did it just like, you know. So, but you know what that did for them is that, well, hell, at least somebody in here got it, you know what I'm saying? So it gave them some saving for us, you know. Yeah, we understand, you know. So I let them have that, right? But we know the truth, right? The point is that the mind of a Clara Mohammed School student had a capacity to grasp that idea and not be lost by it. Why? Because the original paradigm and the frame of mind set to bear that kind of idea was already laid. And that's it. So I'm going to skip some, and I promise you we're going to come back and talk about the elitism at some point. That's some of the idea that's there. I don't think I could do justice to it without in the period of time that we still remain. So we will come back to the black elite. In fact, maybe we'll just do a separate topic about the black elite, but it'll be connected with this. But then I think a logical question, a legitimate question that somebody might ask us, if you have all this to say about Yale and the students that matriculate there and what they have or don't have or what have you, then why are you so proud of your student being at Yale? Why are you so proud of that? You know? That's a legitimate question. Number one, I say, is that it proves that we can master the present paradigm. You know, that's proof. Can you, Clara Mohammed School, qualify somebody with the frame of mind and the characteristics to equip them to compete at Ivy League institutions? That, for me, that's proof. Some of us used to sing, some of us used to sing, some used to play in the playing bands or what have you. Before you can play any original material, what you got to do? You got to be able to show you can handle the top 40. You got to be able to play the standards. And once you can show you can play the standards, okay, now we'll listen to some of your, Jamila, am I right? Yeah, you got to show, you got to come, because when people come to a certain set, they expect to hear certain old standards. Or it ain't a legitimate set. But when you have those old standards, then now, okay, we'll tolerate, we'll give a listen to your original stuff. Since you've proven that you can handle the stuff that we're already entertained by. Well, that's what we've done. Look, we got leaders from out the front door to the top institutions that they have. Hanifa, first freshman, first African American, first Muslim, first president of her class at Oakland High School right now. She walked out the Clara Mohammed School door, walked into a school, and said, I'm gonna run for president. Huh? We didn't push her, we didn't prod her, we didn't say, you know what, you ought to run for president. So you can be the first woman, first female, first, African American, first Muslim, you can be the first president. That'll be history. We didn't say that. But she had, hey, I'm a leader. That's my job. I lead. Huh? Stepped up to the plate and was evaluated by upperclassmen. Were they all Asian? Asian? Other had to be interviewed, go through all this whole process. He said, this is the one. And there she is. Anta Al-Kawi left here, went to Athenian, president of his class. Huh? Ibrahim Adesanya, prom king this year. Class president during one of his years when he was there also at Oakland High. Just a jewel. Studied in France, back, still got his own mind. Bilal Nasir, president right now of his class at Branson in Ross, California. An elite, prestigious private school. Why? And when they encounter our students, and this is a constant refrain. Whatever other institution we go to, these other institutions saying, these children are different. All right? These children are different. These children are different. They don't know what it is. These children are different. What's different? They got a different mind. They got a different crystal formation. They got a different way of thinking, a different way of looking at things. So that's our habit. Tahita left. They should have had a marching band marching behind Tahita when she left Branson. Tahita, it's Tahita. You know what I mean? Seriously, they gave her the Branson Cup. The Branson Cup is the cup that's given to the student that exemplifies the best of what Branson represents. The excellence of it. They gave it to her when she graduated. She left there, and now she goes to Yale. And she said, look, y'all need some whipping in the shape up in here. What y'all thinking about? But I helped her out. I think, this year I can't. Look, they ain't going to change this year. Okay? Spend a little bit of your time trying to move them closer to the line, but the rest of that, get your paper and get out of there. Because you ain't going to change this thing Just like that. Just make a contribution, move on. All right? So we have demonstrated from the front door to the back door to the highest institution that the students that come out of our school can function responsibly in modern society as leaders, literate and morally conscious. We have proof for what we do. And to speak of the institution, I mentioned something about Einstein. Let me tell you a little quirky thing about Einstein. Einstein was a patent clerk, turn of the century, and he had a very unremarkable academic career. It's like his academics wasn't really all that. So he was average. But Einstein revised the whole field of physics, astrophysics, science, etc. There were things that he understood intuitively, without training, that the field didn't understand. But in order for him to get his unified universal field of gravity theory accepted in the field, he was forced to learn certain mathematics. He had it before, but the field demanded that you have to show us through these mathematical formulae and these mathematical processes the proof for what your theory is. So he had to learn from their paradigm what they needed before they could accept as proof what he already knew. I want you to understand we're the same way at Clara Mohammed School. That stuff we already know. It's not published in your books. It's not published in your stats. The Rand Corporation and the Hoover Institute, they haven't done no full, longitudinal studies on us, but we already know. We got our own proof that we can handle your paradigm, and there's another one coming that you don't know about. Don't have no doubt about what we're talking about. Have no doubt about what we're talking about. So that's why we're proud of our student at Yale. She's a pioneer. She's a pioneer, first one. Set foot in Ivy League institution and still have her own mind and leading. Huh? That's one reason that we're proud. Second reason, you just heard me state. It reinforces our institutional confidence. Did you know Bill Gates was a college dropout? And most wealthy people you know don't have college degrees. The super wealthy, most of them don't have college degrees. Massachusetts, I'm probably mispronouncing his name, but he's the chief exec of Panasonic. If you ask a Japanese person who's the greatest businessman in Japan, it would be the CEO of Panasonic. Not Akito Morito or whoever his name is with Sony. Sony's just got the marketing paradigm for America down, so they can move their stuff. But as far as business, it is the CEO of Panasonic. 6th grade education. See, it's this world's paradigm that says you have to have these credentials before you're about anything. But we know that in every human being is the knowledge of the nature of all things. That's our paradigm. Our definitions and our beliefs about human potential come from Quran. Come from what God says is possible for a human being. But it's the powers that be that structure the maze, the rat maze, for us to run through before we get the cheese. It's not a natural thing. It's a man-made thing. And they figure if you can't get through their maze, then you ain't about nothing. But that doesn't change the potential that was already in, and that's what we understand. And it's understanding that enables us to teach our students with limited resources, limited accoutrement or limited physical presences of things that say, now that's a school. Without teachers that have credentials from, and we have teachers with credentials, I'm just want to say, but we do have some teachers who don't have credentials. They're just homegrown, and they're tough. They're tough. We had one student who recently was transferred to another school, one of our third graders. They tested him before entry, and they said, "Woo, we got to put him in fourth grade." No, it didn't just happen here. Abdullah, there he is. Abdullah, come on, tell what happened when April and Lawrence went to where? Cleveland? Columbus, Ohio, right? Come on, give us a little bit on that, just a little bit.
When we got to the school, they wanted to put my daughter back in second grade, and we said no. She's capable of the third grade. She just graduated from second grade, so they wanted to give her a test to see if she could read in that level, and she passed the test. They put her in the third grade.
Yeah. So because her age was what was throwing them off. What was throwing them off?
Her age.
Yeah, her age. She was when they showed up, they had their criteria and said, "This is a second grade child." Okay, you know, well, hold up. We just left the second grade. You know what I'm saying? So then they tested to see if they moved on to third grade. So that means that in their language, she's a grade ahead. But in our language, she's on target. Same way with the last student that I just mentioned. For us, he's on target. For them, he's a grade ahead. And if you was to see, Hanif, I hate to put you on the spot like this, but I'm sorry, but you know, we got CTBS tests back for our last year graduates. I mean, it was all off the charts. Science, you know, 12.9. And 12.9 means more than 12 years. Now we know that there's some problem with what do you call these norm reference tests. On the outer reaches, they stop functioning, meaning that, you know, they measure better in the middle than they do on the outside. Doesn't mean that means, well, you should be in the middle. No, what it means is that we wasn't expecting you to perform this well in this grade. So all we can say is you're off the chart. And that was characteristic of our 8th grade graduates. So what I'm saying is that, but how are we doing this? See, you got people that will walk up to us with a measuring stick that they didn't make. Are you listening? They walk up to us with a measuring stick they didn't make, i.e. somebody else's paradigm, and then they put it next to you and say, okay, let's see if you're a real school. Do you have this? Do you have that? Do you have this? Do you have that? You know? They said, well, you don't meet our criteria, so you're not accredited. But we got students that's maxing out your tests. We got students that's leading your Ivy League schools and private schools. Well, what are we? If we're not a school, what are we? We're something strange, aren't we? I mean, it's like we're some kind of miracle, something weird, alien, something. Because we don't fit any of the definitions that they gave. And i.e., you shouldn't be able to perform this well. That's the story. That's how it is. So that's why we're proud of our student at Yale, because it reinforces our institutional confidence and it bolsters our hope to change the total paradigm. Because we keep doing what we're doing, and we keep sending them leaders with the mind that we have, and they're gonna be loving them anyway, because you cannot love them, because they don't come like, I'm here to take charge. They don't come like that. They just be who they are, and who they are is so beyond the norm in terms of moral characteristics, attitude, personability, et cetera, that they want to give you stuff.
That's right.
See? And that's what we want to keep doing, and that's what we need more help to. Last thing, we are, and when we talk about leaders, and this is what we are not seeing coming out of our young African American elite in this sense. We're not really seeing leaders. What we're seeing is managers. This circle here on the left is the old paradigm. This one on the right is new paradigm. Managers operate within paradigms. Leaders operate between paradigms. A manager is the one who can make sure that you make all the right steps up the ladder. A leader is one that makes sure the ladder is on the right wall. When you get to the top of the ladder and the ladder's on the wrong wall, hell, I was trying to get over there. That's because you were a good manager, you weren't a leader. A manager is someone who will dig the hole faster, efficiently, more accurately, but a leader is one to make sure that the hole is in the right place. A manager is the one who will follow a map with detail and show you the shortest route from point A to point B. That's a manager. But a leader will make sure that the map matches the territory. So if you got the wrong map, but you following all the right streets on the map, but you're in the wrong city, then you're not going to get where you want to go. That's the difference between a leader. So a leader has the ability to think outside of the boundaries of what's been established and able to see a new vision, a new place, and who is able even to extend the old paradigm and make it broader and better and more effective. So we're not trying to produce managers, because managers only maintain the status quo. Leaders bring about a new world. That's what we're having, and we want you to continue to help us to do that. Peace of Allah be upon you. Assalamu alaikum. Allahu Akbar.